Okay, first up we have Agent 13, that's Sharon Carter. So 3 mana, 3/2, legendary creature, human spy hero. I have a feeling we're going to be saying legendary creature a lot today. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, investigate. That's kind of interesting. It kind of reminds me of the old exalted mechanic. When something attacks or alone, or they'll get like a +1 counter or something like that. But investigate, that's interesting. Does not seem very powerful to me, but it's an Agent of Shield, so I guess that's kind of thematic. And with this Universes Beyond stuff, they like to be thematic. Okay, next up, Agent Maria Hill. It's a 2/1 for a single white mana. That's a lot better. Whenever Agent Maria Hill becomes tapped to pay a teamwork cost, put a +1/+1 counter on her and draw a card. That I can see actually being pretty decent. That's actually pretty cool. We would have to see the teamwork cards themselves to see if this is actually a decent payoff or not. Agent of Atlas. It's a 2 mana, 2/2, prowess. Okay, it's just a 2/2 with prowess. That's not too shabby, honestly. I mean, you don't get a whole lot of like white prowess creatures, but it is what it is, right? Okay. Agent Phil Coulson. This is easily a fan favorite card here. So 2/2, Vigilance, tap, put a +1/+1 counter on each other hero you control. Huh, that's actually pretty cool. 2/2 for 2, Vigilance. You can swing with it, and then after combat you can tap it to put +1/+1 counters on. That's not too shabby, honestly. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Agents of Shield. So 2/4 for 3 mana. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1 to on a turn. So I'm seeing quite a lot of these exalted-esque type creatures. I'm thinking that's going to be a theme. Avengers Assemble. 4 colors and a white mana. Enchantment. Flash, heroes you control get +2/+2. At the beginning of each end step, if you attacked with a hero this turn, or a hero entered the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. That's pretty decent. What makes this actually good, though, is the fact that it has Flash. So you could play this as a late game combat trick. And honestly, the second part, the drawing cards part, probably won't be too relevant unless you're playing like a really long game. Because if you give all your dudes +2/+2 as a late game combat trick, you're most likely winning the game. I mean, it is a pretty expensive. It's 5 mana to do this, but it's flash speed and it puts a permanent on the table, so you can actually do quite a bit with that. That's pretty interesting. I like it. Burrow Backup. 4 colorless and a white. Sorcery. Create 2 3/2 white vigilance creature tokens with vigilance, and it has basic land cycling too. I like this because it gives you an option to do things with either the cycling or actually casting it. That's actually pretty strong. So if you happen to have this in your opening hand, you can just land cycle it away and prevent yourself from getting mana screwed. That's pretty good. And the whole like creating 2 3/2 white creatures with vigilance, not bad, not bad. It's not good. It's not bad. This is probably something you'll see in limited, but you'll never see this in constructed. It's just too slow for what it does. Brave Brawler. It's a 2/1 for 2 mana. It has a lifelink and power up. So power up is one of the new mechanics from this set. Basically, it works like this. So you play the creature, and if you want to, you can activate power up the turn that it comes into play, and the cost is reduced by the amount of mana spent to cast the creature. So in this case, with Brave Brawler, it has a cost of 2, right? So power up is 5. It would only be 3 mana when you cast it this turn, if you activate the ability this turn. But his ability is put 2 +1/+1 counters on this creature. So it's not the greatest ability in the world, but it's a 2/1 for with lifelink for 2 mana. Again, it's draft chaff. It's not that great, but it does give us an example of power up. Okay, next up we have Captain America Super Soldier. So 3/2 with first strike, human soldier hero for 1 white, or 1 colorless and 2 white. Captain America enters with a Of course, he enters with a shield counter on him. Okay, that's actually funny. Okay, so if you have not been playing for a while, there was a set about 3-ish years ago called Streets of New Capenna, and one of the mechanics of that set was shield counters. Basically, it works like a one-time damage shield or a one-time destruction shield. If damage would be dealt to the creature with a shield counter, or if the creature was be like targeted with like a Doomblade or something, the shield counter will then be destroyed instead. So it kind of like it eats removal, which is pretty decent. So Captain America having a shield counter is actually really funny. Okay, as long as Captain America has a shield counter on him, you and other heroes you control have hexproof. Oh, that's actually really strong. So he's a 3/2 with first strike. It gives you, the player, hexproof, and the rest of your team hexproof. And so this guy is the only guy that can be targeted with anything. That's really interesting. I could see this going into like a white and black deck that also runs Cecil from Final Fantasy, because Cecil, when Cecil flips, he suddenly gives the rest of your team indestructible when attacking. So that can be a pretty good pair up. Something to think about. Captain America Wings of Freedom. Okay, this is the Falcon version. So 3/1, flying, first strike, and ward 1. Also only costs 3 mana. Whenever Captain America attacks, each other hero you control gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is Captain America's toughness. Okay, so you're going to need something to buff this Captain America's toughness, definitely. Because on its own, flying first strike, ward 1. Honestly, he's pretty decent for only 3 mana. But that buff, it's like you're definitely going to want to put him in maybe like an enchantments build or +1 counters build to really capitalize on that ability. Okay. Next up is Captain Marvel Earth's Protector. It's a 5/4 for 5 mana. It's flash, flying, and lifelink. Okay. That's all words I really like, so that's good. And it has power up of 5 colorless and double white. Put a +1/+1 counter and an indestructible counter on Captain Marvel. Okay, so that ability is way too expensive. So you probably play this as just a flash flying lifelink. And just go to town with that, because that on its own is really strong. The power up is way too expensive, because even if you get the mana discount when you play Captain Marvel, you're still going to have to wait until you have about 7 mana to play this card for full effect. So it is cool. It's very cool. But I don't think I would ever use that extra ability. Okay, next up, Captain Marvel Spaceborne. So this is a 4/4 flying and vigilance for 5 mana again. And it says Cosmic Awareness. As long as an opponent has cast a spell this turn, you may cast spells as though they had flash. Wow. That is actually even better than Captain Marvel. Because like, if you're playing with this, like, people are obviously going to be playing cards on their turn. So this basically just says you have flash. You can play whatever you want at instant speed. That's really cool. I like that a lot. And also, he's really splashable because he's only has 1 white pip in his casting cost. That's actually something to keep an eye on. And it's uncommon too, so you can pick that up pretty cheap. Colleen Wing, Street Samurai. Interesting. So 2/2 for 2. Legendary creature, human samurai hero. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, put a +1/+1 counter on Colleen Wing and scry. Hey, that's actually pretty good. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, she gets a +1/+1 counter and you scry. So that automatically slots right into the Silver Quill Repartee style of deck. Because like that just synergizes super well with that deck. Yeah, that's actually something to keep an eye on. That's pretty good. Crowd of True Believers. 1 white mana for a 1/2 human citizen. And it taps target creature you control that's attacking alone gets +1/+0 until end of turn. You gain 1 life. That's kind of cool. I also like that it's called a Crowd of True Believers. And because that's what Stan Lee used to call like fans of his work. He'd like open up like uh interviews or things like that where things where he was like basically doing talking head work, and he would greet his audience by saying hello true believers. I think that's a pretty cool homage. I like that. Okay, next up, Helicarrier Strike, 1 white mana, instant, teamwork 2. Okay, so here's what teamwork is. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may tap any number of creatures you control with total power 2 or more. Okay, so it works just like crew or station, but it's called teamwork. Okay. Helicarrier Strike deals 2 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. If this spell was cast using teamwork, it deals 4 damage to that creature instead. Okay, so it's another one of those situational removal spells. It just happens to have teamwork stable to it. Hero in Training, 3 mana, 2/2 human hero. When this creature enters, draw a card. If you control another hero, you gain 2 life. Oh, that's kind of cute. It's not good, but it's cute. I like it. Okay, Invisible Woman, Sue Storm. Nice. I've always liked Invisible Woman. I thought she was a very interesting character. Obviously overshadowed by the rest of the Fantastic Four team, but she was always cool. I liked her. Invisible Woman, Sue Storm, 4 mana and a white for a 2/5 lifelink. Whenever you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on 1 or more other heroes you control, you may create a 0/4 colorless wall creature token with Defender. Oh, that is really cool. Yeah, one of her like abilities was to create force fields to like kind of like help defend the rest of her team. So that is really really flavorful for this. I like that a lot. I'll hold down the fort while you guys bicker. Good flavor text. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's pretty cool. Yeah, whenever you buff up your team, make more walls. Pretty cool. Okay, next up is Jennifer Walters. This is a 2/3 for 1 and a white. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Okay, cool. So she's a Grand Abolisher. You can pay 3 green, white, white to transform Jennifer Walters, activate as a sorcery. Let's flip that. And it's the Sensational She-Hulk. Okay, so Jennifer Walters, the She-Hulk. She's a 6/6 with reach and trample. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Okay, so she keeps her ability. That's awesome. Whenever a creature you control is dealt damage, you may have the Sensational She-Hulk deal that much damage to any target. Do this only once each turn. Wow, that is a fantastic ability. So not only is she working as the Grand Abolisher, but she also reflects damage. That's super strong. I like that a lot. It says whenever a creature you control is dealt damage. So that includes her. So if you attack with She-Hulk and they block, and you can just reflect that damage to the opponent's face and still trample over. That's really strong. I like that a lot. That's a cool card. All right, Kree Commandos. 3 mana, 2/1, Flying Vigilance, and Prowess. Wow, okay. That's kind of cool. Not much to say about that. It's just Flying, Vigilance, and Prowess. Luke Cage, the Power Man. 3 colorless and a white, 2/5. And it's Unbreakable Skin is his ability. Whenever Luke Cage attacks alone, he gets +2/+0 and gains Indestructible until end turn. Okay, that's very basic. Luke Cage is kind of like a minor hero, so I'm not surprised that they didn't really give him a super strong card. There it is, the chase rare from the entire set, the Mind Stone. I don't know if I'll be picking up the Mind Stone or not, but it would be nice to have, just to have it. But it's pretty strong. 1 and a white, Indestructible. It's a mana rock, adds white, and you can harness it by paying 5 and a white, tap, harness the Mind Stone. And once harnessed, its Infinity ability is active. And the ability is, at the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 other target non-land permanent you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. So, very strong ability. Being able to flicker something once a turn, every turn, is very, very strong. However, paying 6 mana to do it, and 6 mana not including the mana that you generate from the Mind Stone, because this is a tap ability, means that this is a very late game option and likely something that will only be triggered in Commander. If you play this in Standard or any other format, you're likely only playing it just to ramp yourself out a little bit, which is not bad because white ramp is very weak. Having access to the Mind Stone will actually be very good for you. So I can see a lot of people running this just to have some white ramp. I mean, I personally like the Soul Stone a lot more. It has a much more powerful ability, but it's not bad. Mockingbird, Ace Agent. 2/2, double strike for 4 mana. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, put a +1/+1 counter on Mockingbird. Oh, okay. So another one of those repartee abilities. It has double strike, but 4 mana, no evasion. It's pretty weak. Monica Rambeau is 3 mana for 3/3 Flying Prowess. 3 mana, 3/3 Flying Prowess is actually pretty decent on its own, but it has a transform ability. It's 2 white, red, or 2 red, white, white. Transform. Okay. And you flip it, and she becomes Photon, Living Light. Okay, first off, that art is fantastic. That is gorgeous art. Look at that. Beautiful. So she is a 4/4 flying hexproof and prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. Wow, that is actually really, really strong. So she gets bigger because of her prowess, and she makes the team bigger because of her ability. That's really cool. Yeah, so you can play that as like part of a spellslinger deck. That's really strong. I like that. Okay, Murdoch's Crusade. So 1 colorless and a white sorcery. It has Teamwork 4. So you pay the Teamwork cost by tapping up to 4 powers worth of creatures. Choose one. If this spell was cast using Teamwork, choose both instead. So option 1 is exile target creature with toughness 4 or greater. And option 2 is exile target enchantment with mana value 4 or greater. Wow, that's honestly pretty good. A little situational because the guys have to have like toughness 4 or greater and mana value 4 or greater. So you do have options. I don't see both modes being too relevant at the same time. And also like toughness 4 or greater, it's good. It will deal with a lot of like mid to late game threats. The enchantment part, not a whole lot of targets for that, at least not in Standard. Okay, next up, Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Legendary creature, human spy hero. He's a 2/1 for only a single white mana, and his power-up is white, blue, black, red, green. So if you do it on the turn he comes down, it's only blue, black, red, green. So either way, you have to use all 5 colors to activate. So put 2 +1/+1 counters on Nick Fury. Then look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may put a hero, equipment, or vehicle card from among them onto the battlefield. If it's a double-faced card, you may transform it. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. That is really cool. I like that a lot. So he will look at the top 7 cards of your library, grab your favorite hero, your favorite equipment or vehicle, put them onto the table. Now let's say, because it says you can transform it, so let's say you happen to get a Hulk character, drop it in play, immediately flip it. Pretty good. That's not too bad for only 5 mana too. I mean, it has to be a powerful effect though for it to be WUBRG, because that's not like 5 colorless you're paying. You're paying 1 of each color, and not easy to assemble. Yeah, very strong ability. I like that. Okay, next up is Night Nurse, Healer of Heroes. So it's a 2/1 for 2 mana with flash and lifelink. All right, I already like this. When Night Nurse enters, choose target permanent card in your graveyard that was put there from anywhere this turn, return it to your hand. It's okay. If it returned it to play, it would be awesome and an auto include in almost any white deck. That is strong. Putting it back into your hand is still okay though. Okoye, Dora Milaje Leader. This is a 3/2 for 4 mana. When Okoye enters, create 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Attacking creature tokens you control have first strike. Hey, that's pretty good. I like giving first strike to all my tokens. Origin of the Avengers. Okay, let's see what this is. So it's a saga. It's a 1 colorless and a white. First step is scry 2. Second step is you may put a hero creature card with mana value 3 or less from your hand onto the battlefield. If you don't, draw a card. Okay, so either way, you can develop board or you can draw a card. Part 3 is put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. It's not bad. It's not good, but it's also not bad. Part 2, for like best value, kind of wants you to have a hero in hand. But you can kind of set things up like that though, because like you can scry to make sure like you have something on top of your library, make sure you're drawing a good card next turn, and then like power up the team. So this is probably not something you want to play on turn 2, maybe turn 3 or 4 for maximum effect. Panther Pounce, 1 white mana. Target player investigates. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains flying until end of turn. Untap it. That's a good combat trick because you untap the creature, you give it flying, it gets +1 power, and you also get a clue token. That's not bad. Patriot Shield Wielder, 2/2 for 2 mana. It's 2 and tap. Another target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains hexproof until end of turn. That's not bad. It's like a bad Mother of Runes or a bad Skrelv. I mean, it's decent. I could see it definitely having applications, but needing to babysit 2 mana and this creature to give hexproof to something else, and not just that, but a hexproof that your opponent can see coming, because the Patriot has to be on the table for at least 1 full turn before you can activate this. I would rather just play a combat trick from hand, but it's not bad. Political Triumph. 1 white mana enchantment plan. Whenever a creature you control enters, scry 1 and put a plan counter on this enchantment. When the 4th plan counter is put on this enchantment, sacrifice it. Draw a card and put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. So like, you play it turn 1 and then just start dropping dudes on the table. Maybe play a token plan, and just like go really wide and buff up your team. Yeah, it's not bad. Quake, Agent of Shield, 3/3 for 3 mana. Seismic Takedown. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, tap target hero or target creature or land. Okay, that's actually pretty decent. Because like if you're playing like a tempo build, you just tap down your opponent's creatures and just start swinging. I mean, maybe play a couple buff spells or maybe even a removal spell to like kill a creature, tap another. That can be pretty good. Like I could see that doing really well in a white-black or white-blue tempo build. I like that. Raft Security Officer. 1 and a white, 1/3. 2 colorless and tap target creature. This ability costs 1 less to activate if it targets a creature with power 3 or less. Okay, that's pretty decent. A little decoy character. Red Guardian, Super Soldier. Okay, this is a 2/2 with flash for 3 mana. When Red Guardian enters, destroy target creature an opponent controls that dealt damage this turn. Hey, I like that. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, you don't see that effect very often. That's pretty decent. Okay, let's see this. The Sentry, Golden Guardian, 5/5 for 3 colors and a white. Okay, so it's above a raid. It says Flying Vigilance Indestructible. When the Sentry enters, target opponent creates the Void, a legendary 5/5 black horror villain creature token with flying, indestructible, and the Void attacks each combat if able. Okay, so that's pretty decent. So the Sentry is Flying Vigilance Indestructible. So you give your opponent a 5/5 black horror villain with flying and indestructible, and it has to attack every turn. So it'll attack you, you'll just block it with the Sentry, and then you'll swing in with the Sentry next turn because your guy has flying and vigilance. So you can just have the void bounce off the sentry indefinitely. Or, and hear me out here, you could unsummon the token. Easy. Just get rid of it. Unsummon it, exile it, find some way to deal with it. It's not too difficult. Sentry, pretty decent. Pretty decent card. Okay, Shield Spy Kit. 1 white mana, artifact, equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature attacks alone, untap it and scry 1. Hey, that's not bad, honestly. I like that you get to untap the creature and scry. That's good. But only if the creature attacks alone. So that's like an exalted strategy right there. Okay. Next up is Supervillain Lockup. 2 mana, enchantment Flash. When this enchantment enters, exile target tapped creature and opponent controls until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. Ooh, I like that a lot. That honestly could be a really good like sideboard option for certain decks. I like this a lot because it has Flash. You just gotta wait for your opponent to attack you with something relevant, and you just go, nope, lock him up, get him out of here. And like this can target almost anything, so long as like the creature's attacking, and it's a 2 mana exile as opposed to the usual 3 mana exile that we usually see. That's pretty good. Okay, next up, Super Soldier Serum. 1 and a white, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2, has first strike and vigilance, and is a legendary soldier in addition to its other types. Whenever enchanted creature attacks or blocks, attach any number of target equipment you control to it. That's pretty decent. So, it's 2 mana. The creature gets +2/+2, first strike, vigilance, and then whenever it attacks or blocks, you can just slap equipment onto it. That... Okay, so hear me out here. Swords. Usually, swords are a little bit too expensive to utilize because you have to pay 3 for the sword and then 2 to equip it. If you just super soldier it, you can just auto-equip whatever you need to. And you can attach any number of target equipment to it. That's really silly. I like that a lot. I might actually play that. Okay. Take up the shield. 1 and a white. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It gains lifelink and indestructible until end of turn. This is a reprint. You see this in almost, I want to say like every 3rd set that comes out. I think there's like 3 versions of this in standard right now. Wakandan Drone Flock. 4 mana, 3/3 for a robot. Flying. When this creature enters, scry 2. Okay. Nothing to write home about. Web Up. 3 mana, enchantment. When this enchantment enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. Okay, it's an Oblivion Ring. White Widow, free agent. So 3 colors in a white, 2/3. When White Widow enters, choose one. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures, or return target artifact or enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Hey, that's not bad. Pretty weak for 4 mana, but pretty good for what is it? Limited? Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, we've already seen these two though. I don't know why they showed us that again. Okay, so out of the white cards that we've seen today, what cards would I consider picking up? I would consider Supervillain Lockup, Super Soldier Serum. I would probably consider the Sentry. The Sentry is actually pretty decent. Let's see, what else would we get? Probably the Mind Stone, because I can foresee like this just being an investment in your future for your Magic portfolio. Like I think all of the Infinity Stones are going to be things you're going to want to get at least one of. Let's see, what else would I pick up from this color? Yeah, I think that might be it. Yeah, white definitely has an identity. It does not have a whole lot of terribly powerful cards in it. But for me, if I wanted to pick up some like some competitive cards, there are a few options here. The Sentry is probably the best creature that I saw from this color. But as far as like removal goes, Supervillain Lockup is really good. Super Soldier Serum can be good in the right deck. Probably gonna have to throw that in like a Boros or a Selesnya equipment style deck. Let's see. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, just those three to four cards. Yeah, the Mind Stone, the Sentry, and Supervillain Lockup are probably the best cards out of white from this set. So that's my thoughts on white. So stay tuned for the blue cards. We'll see those next.